let's have a look at some compound interest questions. Find the amount of compound interest earned on $7,000 invested at 10% per annum for 3 years. This is a friendly question because we don't have weird compounding periods. It's just done every year. Our first step is always to highlight our principal, our rate, and our time. Principal is 7,000, invested at what rate? 10% per annum. For how long? 3 years. Now I'm going to write down my principal. P equals $7,000. Now I'm going to write down my rate as a decimal. Well, first I'll just write it as a percentage. And to change a percentage to a decimal, I divide the number by 100. 10 divided by 100 is 0.10. I would have to change that if I'm compounding more regularly, but it doesn't say I'm compounding every 6 months or something, so I don't need to worry about that. And my time is 3 years. Am I compounding more frequently than just on those years? No, so I just keep it like that. Let's put it into our compound interest formula. A equals principal times 1 plus the rate to the power of time. A equals, my principal is 7,000 times 1 plus my rate for the decimal is 0.10, and my time is 3. Then I'm going to use a Desmos calculator or a scientific calculator to calculate this. 7,000 times, open bracket, 1 plus 0.10, close bracket. And remember, over on the left-hand side, you'll have A with a little 2 above it and then A with a B above it. I'm going to click A with the B above it and click 3. I get 9,317. Now we've got a table that's challenging us to just apply the formula. They've extracted the key bits of information. We don't need to highlight them in the question, but we may need to do some further calculations to make sure that the numbers are ready to use in the formula. Well, my principals are listed down there. First thing I'm going to do is I know with my interest, it always needs to be as a decimal. So let's change those first. 9%, 0.09, 10%, 0.10, or 0.1, 6%, 0.06, and 12%, 0.12. To add complication to this is my interest per annum. But for some of these, the interest is charged more regularly, so it needs to be divided accordingly. The first one, it says the compounding period is annually. The next one, it says the compounding period is 6 monthly. So that means that my interest per annum needs to be split among the 2 sets of 6 months in a year. 0.10 divided by 2 is going to be 0.5. Divided by 2, 0.05. The next one's also done 6 monthly. I'll have to go the rate that's per year divided by 2 because it happens twice a year. That's going to be 0.03. And the last one's done quarterly. There are 4 quarters in a year. That makes sense. Quarters are out of 4. So I'm going to divide my annual rate by 4. And now I can look at my time and change that if I need to, because the time is the number of times it's compounded. If it's compounded annually, well, 5 years, that happens 5 times. But 6 monthly, in a 4-year period, that means every year it's compounded 2 times a year. So that's 2 times in the first year, 2 times in the next year, 2 times in the next year, and 2 times in the next year. That's a total of 8 times. So I'm actually going to change that to t equals 8. Yes, it's still 4 years, but it's done twice a year. Next one's the same. It's done twice a year. The next one, it's done 4 times a year. So it's 4 times in the first year and 4 times in the second year. Again, we're going to have t equals 8. Now we've got our numbers, our p, our t, and our r sorted. You can put it into the formula to find the amount.